Hello, today we are going to install kd-builder on a fresh installation of Arch Linux. kd-builder is the build framework which allows to build KD source code, for instance, from the KD Git repositories. Let's look at the instructions on how to set up kd-builder. This is the official KD website, kde.org. In this main menu, which can be hidden underneath a hamburger menu, get involved, and then there's develop KD software as a way to contribute. In here it says that it's important to use a Linux operating system and one which has a new enough version of the Qt framework and other binary packages from that Linux operating system. And Arch Linux, being a rolling release Linux operating system, is well suited for using kde-builder. I'm not sure how beginner friendly is Arch Linux towards people which did not really have experience with Linux operating systems. But once you have Arch Linux installed, kd-builder should be easy to install. The next thing that we want to look at is this button which says set up a development environment with kde-builder. The previous tool which did what kde-builder does was called kdesrc-build. This is a command line tool, this is a command line tool. They have similar command line parameters. The KD software uses invent.kd.org, which is an installation of GitLab software. This is a Git Forge, which has Git merge requests, a bit similar to GitHub. So kde-builder is a Python tool, resides in the KD Git repositories in invent.kd.org. And if you invoke it from the command line with as parameter the name of the KD Git repository, it will know how to git clone that Git repository, which Git branch to use, and how to compile it and install it. But it will also know that in order for you to build that Git repository, you actually want to build 20 other KD Git repositories first, which are the dependencies of this Git repository. So it knows the tree of dependencies between KD Git repositories and knows how to build one individual Git repository. We're going to follow these instructions. We're going to use the home directory. There's no need to have to use sudo for anything else than to install binary packages from Arch Linux. So we're using sudo in order to install binary packages. The rest of the kd-builder actions will happen in the ~kd directory. In there will be a subdirectory where Git repositories will be cloned. The subdirectory is named src. There will be a subdirectory named build where cmake, code generation, and compiling and the build artifacts will be created. And then a third directory, which is ~kd/usr, where software will be installed. So we're not going to install software in /usr. That's managed by the Arch Linux package manager, which is Pacman. We're not going to install into /usr/local. Instead, we're going to install into the home directory of the current user. This way, we don't need to use sudo when installing software. Let's run this Perl invocation. We need console, it's installed. So this is an installation of Arch Linux, a very fresh one, installed using Arch install. In the Arch install, I have selected desktop and KD Plasma. We're going to favorite console such that it's available in the KD start menu under the favorites. When you open the KD start menu, the favorites group is shown by default, so I want console available there. Let's increase the font size, so Control and then the mouse wheel scroll. Copy and then paste. Let's see what it does. So it changes to the current directory. I should not be logged on as the user root. I'm using the user that's not root but can do sudo. It's a sudoer. So it's going to download from invent.kd.org the KD Git repository where kd-builder is, a .sh file which is in fact a bash script. And then it's executing this file using bash. This bash script is useful because, for instance, we cannot actually run kde-builder without installing some Python Arch Linux binary packages first. So this script will install the needed prerequisites, which in this case are these 3 Python modules. And then we need to make sure that the path environment variable contains this directory /.local/bin, because we're going to invoke kd-builder from a directory where this file does not exist. So this file is kd-builder is a Python file, and it exists in /local/share/kd-builder, and it's this file, kd-builder. In order for us to be able to invoke this executable kd-builder without providing a full path or a relative path, this executable kd-builder has been symlinked into /.local/bin. Not really, why not? This is the purpose of the script. Initial setup.sh should create a symlink in here. Let's see what it's saying. Preparing the bin path. Your path is missing /.local/bin. You need to add it. So it's forcing me to add this directory to the path environment variable, and then probably I'll need to run bash initial setup.sh again. So let's look at the environment variable path. And this collapsed group in the wiki page, which says about /.local/bin. The path environment variable doesn't contain any directory in my home directory. That's not okay. It should contain both /.local/bin and /bin. At least if these 2 directories exist. But it's even better if these 2 directories are always part of the path environment variable. Okay, let's see what shell are we using. Hopefully it's bash. Maybe because of this prompt I can see that it's bash. And we need to look at the configuration files for the shells in the home directory. Let's see what files do we have in here. So we have bash history, bash lookout. We don't have dot profile, and we have .bash underscore profile and .bash rc. Let's look at these two. Bash profile. Bash profile doesn't do anything, it just invokes bash rc, which is actually the correct way to do it. Okay, and bash rc says has the command prompt, the bash prompt, and two aliases. So it says that at the end of bash rc, we should add this line. So copy, right click, if we can do that. How do we paste? Let's select and middle click paste. Doesn't work. Save before close, no. So I have installed the GNU Nano editor. I'm going to edit the file bash rc. And at the end, I'm going to add this content. So this says that the path environment variable will be available to this process and to children processes, and will contain the exact same value as the existing path environment variable with the directory tilde/.local/bin post-panded, so panded, which is not okay. This directory should be pre-pending. So I'm going to actually do that. It's a benign change, probably post-pending, so pending is okay, but I'll do it appended this time. Why? Because I want the executable files which I put, or symlinks that I put in tilde/.local/bin to have higher priority over everything else, for instance, over the executables which exist in /usr. I put something in there, maybe just to override an existing executable. Maybe, I know, I have a Crusader executable in /usr/bin and a better one in tilde/.local/bin. Control O, write file, enter, Control X to exit. Okay, and we need to make this change happen, which is to have the path environment variable changed. Let's see if just reopening console is enough. Echo $path, and it is. So bash rc is sourced even if you don't reboot the computer, even if you don't log out of your KDE Plasma graphical user interface session. It's enough to just restart the terminal, in my case, KDE console, this window. Okay, and now I'm going to try to run this line again. Hopefully this time it's going to create the needed symlink for the kd-builder Python executable towards tilde/.local/bin. Okay, where can we see what it did? So it says it installed an icon and a desktop file. In order for kde-builder to be available, I know, in the start menu, I'm not sure what this thing does. So tilde/.local/share/applications kd-builder.desktop and an icon. Okay, so now because the path environment variable does contain tilde/.local/bin. And in tilde/.local/bin, we have a symlink, this one, kd-builder towards tilde/local/share/kd-builder/kd-builder. We can see that it's a Python file. We can run kd-builder without specifying any type of path before the executable. So not ./kd-builder, not tilde/.local/bin/kd-builder, not any other type of path before kd-builder, just kd-builder. So it said that it has created the configuration file. A configuration file allows you to decide if you want to build KD Git repositories from the master branch, or if you want to build from Qt 5 branches, or from Qt 6 branches, or from release branches, etc. We are going to look at the configuration file and see if there's something to improve in there. Kate is the KD graphical user interface editor. So this is a YAML, yet another markup language file format, config version 2. So these are the default settings. This is how kd-builder wants this configuration file to look like. And I'm going to improve, if needed, the contents of the file. The tilde/kd/src directory is where git clone operations happen. Tilde/kd/build is where cmake does its things. And the Ninja builds build artifacts. And tilde/kd/usr is where the equivalent of make install happens. We actually use Ninja install. This is the cmake build configuration, rel with deb-info. This is the good build configuration, which means that executable files will be stripped of will be what? Will not be debug, so not minus uppercase OG, will be probably minus uppercase O2 or something. GC++ compiler flag. So optimized, but still we will have debug symbols available. I'm going to want to build KD software and then run the software in a debugger, for instance, in GNU-GDB. That will not work great. Debug symbols will exist, but because the build type is of type release, there will be a ton of optimizations performed by the G++ compiler, which means that entire functions will be inlined and redundant code will be replaced with something else, which means that when we run inside of the debugger, it will not execute each line in line 4, then line 5 from that source code file. It will jump all over the place because of the optimizations. So I actually changed this thing to debug. If you only want to build KD software and run it, for instance, if you're a manual tester and wants to see that a git commit has a git merge request has introduced issues or not, or if you want to see if you have a bug in KD bug tracker in Bugzilla, which is marked as fixed, you want to build the KD Git repository and check that the fix is enough, is complete. In that case, you certainly want to remain with the defaults of this configuration file, but me as a developer, again, I want to build executables and run them in the debugger. That's why I switch rel with deb-info to debug. Correct values in here. So num cores is the number of CPU threads on my computer, which is 14. The rest of the defaults are okay. And I just want to save the configuration file. Again, we're using CMake, all of the KDE Git repositories which contain desktop applications and libraries for those applications use CMake. CMake has multiple possible backends, and we're using the faster one, which is Ninja, not the alternative, which is GNU Make or Unix Make files like that. Okay, that's it. Now we have a configuration file. Next up, we want to install 1000 Arch Linux binary packages, which are required in order for us to be able to build KDE Git repositories, KDE Frameworks version 5, KDE Frameworks version 6, and some other KDE Git repositories. But at least KDE Frameworks version 5 and 6 should build correctly out of the box if the correct Arch Linux binary packages are installed. And we do that with this command line. Okay, so it starts with list where we have the Qt6 binary packages and the Qt5 binary packages and some other binary packages. We'll see if this is the only list of packages which we install using pacman-s uppercase. Asks for the sudo password. It will install some X.org libraries, tools for building such as Meson, Perl modules, Python modules. It says that it's installing 218 binary packages, which seems like a small number. I expect there to be another list of Arch Linux binary packages that will be installed. And that's it. Wow, incredibly small list of packages. Maybe this is because Arch Linux binary packages are not split. So the .h files, the C++ header files, are not split into their other binary packages, the devel binary packages, which this split exists in the Debian Ubuntu family of Linux operating systems. There's the -dev deb packages, and in the Fedora Red Hat Linux Enterprise family of Linux operating systems, where there's RPMs with names ending with -devel. So maybe that's why I expected there would be 1000 packages installed, and instead just 218 packages were installed. Or maybe this list is very incomplete. We'll see in short time once we start building. Okay, let's see what this thing does. kd-builder -pretend kcalc. So this doesn't perform the CMake configure step, the build step, and the install step. It does, and it might also not do git clone operations. So this demonstrates that kde-builder recognizes kcalc as the name of a KDE Git repository, knows the correct KDE Git repositories that need to be built first before building kcalc. All of these 27 modules, so extra CMake modules. Wayland is not a KDE Git repository. Plasma Wayland protocols it is. Kconfig, K-internationalizations, Core add-ons, GUI add-ons, etc. So these are KDE Frameworks version 6. Widgets add-ons. This is not a Git repository. This is theming, another KD framework, another KD framework. So most of these are KD frameworks, and then KD libraries, and then some Git repositories which are not part of the KD community. In total, 27 dependencies are built first, and only at the end what we wanted is built, which is the graphical user interface application kcalc. In here it says perform your first build and suggests that you build Dolphin. You totally don't want to do that. Dolphin is the KD file manager, this thing. And this depends on a ton of KD frameworks, on major parts of KD Plasma, KIO modules, etc. So I would never recommend that you start building Dolphin. I always start testing that installation of kd-builder was correct in the exact same way. So I do kd-builder, kconfig. Why? Because kconfig is one of the first modules that gets built, this one, which means that we'll see if kd-builder is able to actually build this module and this module. This is the only module that's a dependency of kconfig. If it can build these two modules, then we're looking at probably a correct installation of kd-builder. Okay, so let's see what this thing did. So extra CMake modules was processed in this directory tilde/kd as we configured inside of the kd-builder configuration file. This is the default directories. So tilde/kd, src for git clones, this thing. In here happens the CMake and Ninja results can be seen in here. And then the final files, which were created in here in the build directory, and also some files from the git clone, are copied at the Ninja install step into tilde/kd/usr directory under, in this case, share, ecm, CMake these two files, and this file, and this directory with documentation. kconfig was not installed yet. It's still compiling. So all of the files and directories that we see in here come from ECM being the KD module, extra CMake modules. Okay, so kconfig is finishing building, contains C++ source code, which has been built using GNU's C++ compiler G++. Let's see the end results. So it was git cloned in here, tilde/kd/src/kconfig. We can see that by looking at the git remote -v, for instance. We can look at the git status. And then building happened in this directory, tilde/kd/build/kconfig. This is a major part of the output, which is a QML module, QML-dir. And then all of these are executables. 99% of them contain test in the name, either at the end or at the start, which means that this is a executable which can be run at a command line and which contains a ctest Qt test. So it's using a XUnit style framework for writing tests. And then the libraries are these ones with lib and kf6 and .so at the end, or .so and then a version with a forest of symlinks. So the actual file is .so.6.9.0, and then there's a symlink from the file which ends in .so.6 towards this one, and the same thing, a symlink from the file which ends in .so also points in here. Okay, let's see that the files have been installed correctly in tilde/kd/usr/lib. Here they are, 1, 2, 3, or core. This forest of symbolic links. A QML dir, QML module for this KDE framework version 6K config. So this worked correctly. Next up, I want to build a simpler graphical user interface application than Dolphin, which in this case is going to be kcalc. So again, building Dolphin will build, I don't know, maybe 90 modules, whereas building kcalc builds 28 Git modules. So it's 3 times faster. And we're doing it just for the purpose of making sure that the needed Arch binary packages have indeed been installed, and to see if there's easy to spot issues in this kde-builder installation, or maybe we might encounter a freshly introduced bug in kde-builder, or maybe a new binary package from Arch Linux which makes some KDE Git repository not build. So it's a useful exercise to have a fresh installation of the operating system in a virtual machine, and then build incrementally more modules using kde-builder. So the actual succession that I use, let's also favorite Kate. Don't show the welcome page, new file. So the order in which I build, I go kd-builder kconfig. Again, as a smoke test, just 2 modules will be built. This is going to be fast. If kconfig works, then it's 80% chance that almost everything else works correctly. Then I want the kcalc application, which is a graphical user interface application, which will require many modules, 28 in this case. Then I'm going to run kcalc because I want to see that indeed kcalc has been built and all of its dependent C modules. But I also want to see that kcalc actually starts. It was installed correctly, the libraries were installed correctly in the correct places, the correct libraries were installed, and kcalc starts. Maybe, again, you couldn't find that kcalc does not start. Why doesn't it start? Maybe a recent git commit in kcalc has introduced this issue, and the way you would go about fixing that is probably going to the Git repository where kcalc has been git cloned, which is this one. And in here you can do git operations. You could do create whatever. You could move the let's actually see how that is done. Shift D. So sudo su become super user. We want tk. Okay. That because we want to run git GUI. So kd-builder makes sure that the latest git commits were fetched from the official kd git repositories in event.kd.org, the HTTPS server. You can prove that by making sure that looking at the git history and seeing that the local master branch points to the same git commit as the remote's origin master branch. So again, if you think that issue, so I don't know, maybe it's a scenario where kcalc refuses to start, you guess that this commit was problematic, and then what you would do is let's see if the penultimate git commit has the issue or not. So in that case, you would go right click, reset master branch here hard, for instance. Okay. This will move the local master branch to the penultimate git commit. And then you would do kd-builder. And in here you would need to know the command line of kd-builder. Let's look at it. Okay, there's no help. That's great. So it asks that I go to this web page for the command line parameters. I control clicked on the link, opens Mozilla Firefox, and let's see. So pretend similar to dry run, doesn't do git operations, doesn't compile or install anything. By default, when we tell kd-builder to build kcalc, it will also build the dependencies of kcalc, so the other 27 modules. --run means run a executable that was installed into kd-usr/bin. I want to build, but then kd-builder always does git operations in order to make sure that the local master branch points to the same git commit as the remote origin master branch, which means that the change that I just did, where I moved the local master branch to the penultimate commit, will be undone by kd-builder. So for that, we want to tell kd-builder, hey, don't do any git operations. So this is the command line parameter as I remember it. I'm not sure what's the current name of this thing. Query. No src skips the source update phase, so it will not do git operation. That's what it does. And I want to do a full rebuild of kcalc, but nothing else. So it should not build any of the dependencies, which means no include dependencies. And I want a fresh rebuild, a clean one. Let's see what the name of this thing is. So include dependencies. No include dependencies means don't build the 27 dependency modules of kcalc. And then we need a refresh build. this thing, minus refresh build. And then the name of the module kcalc. So again, the invocation is kd-builder no src no include dependencies refresh build. Then the name of the module kcalc. No src doesn't do git operations, no include dependencies leaves alone the 27 modules and only does operations on kcalc module. And minus refresh build means that it will not do an incremental build, it will actually do a rebuild. So not a build, but a rebuild. It will clean the build directory and rebuild all of the C++ translation units. So we want as complete build as possible of kcalc. You can do an even more complete build of kcalc by making sure that you delete the build directory. So tilde/kd/build/kcalc, this directory. Okay, and now you would run kd-builder --run kcalc. Hopefully this time it runs. And next up, I build the module plasma integration. Why? Maybe your operating system is using KD Plasma 5 and you're building a KD Qt6 Git repository, or vice versa. Maybe as we are now, we're in Arch Linux, we're logged into KD Plasma 6, which uses Qt6, but then you want to configure kde-builder to build Qt 5 modules. And once you build KD5 modules, those will look out of place, will not use the theming from KD Plasma 6 because there will be no Qt widgets style, which is of type Breeze, which is the default Qt widget style in KD Plasma, because we've installed from Arch Linux binary packages the Qt widgets theme Breeze, but only for Qt 6, and using kde-builder we're building software only for Qt 5. That's why it's a good idea to always build at least once Plasma integration. Next up, I'm running again kcalc because I want to see that the theming when the graphical user interface application kcalc runs is perfectly correct. I want to see that the correct icons are visible in the application, the theming looks correct, the color scheme is correct, everything related to styling, theming, and integration with the desktop works correctly, such as file open dialog, file save dialog, file print dialog, the dialogs which allow you to edit the main toolbar. After all of this is done, the last invocation that I actually run is kde-builder frameworks. This will build all of the KD Qt 6 frameworks in this case, KD frameworks version 6, which is 90 modules. And the aim here is that we have into tilde/kd/usr all of the needed .so files, so all of the needed shared libraries, all of the needed shared files in tilde/kd/share, such that when I run a process from tilde/kd/usr by building another module using kde-builder, that executable will load all of the KD dependencies, all of the KD shared libraries, shared files, etc., just from tilde/kd/usr, not from /usr. So the aim here is when you're running a process such as kcalc, built from kde-builder, you want all of the dependencies, fonts, libraries, etc., which have nothing to do with the KD frame or with the KD community to come from /usr, which means files which have been installed by Pacman in there, from Arch Linux binary packages, but all of the KD software, binaries, icons, configuration files, etc. So all of the KD things should come from tilde/kd/usr. And you can use the Linux command line lsoff to actually validate that that's the case. Okay, so let's see where we are. So it's building the penultimate module, which is Selenium WebDriver AT-SPI, which is used in tests. You saw when we built kconfig that part of building is also building the test suite. And in this case, there are graphical user interface tests. So tests of type, open the application, move the application a bit, click on a button, you know, the graphical user interface click type tests. And some of these use these KD library Selenium WebDriver AT-SPI. Okay, so kcalc has been built. Let's look at our script. So we've built the module. Next up, we want to run it. The application has started correctly. The application is using the correct theme and icons, but that's just by accident, in the sense that both kde-builder built applications such as kcalc, so the files from tilde/kd/usr/bin, and the files from /usr use the same version of Qt framework, the one that's installed from Arch Linux binary packages. But there's possibilities where you have a different version of Qt installed in /usr and a different Qt version that's used for kde-builder. For instance, you can install different versions of the Qt framework using the Qt online installer from qt.io, which is the official website of the Qt framework. Maybe you want to test with a development branch of the Qt framework. And again, if we're going to run lsoff, we're going to see that some KD software comes from /usr and some KD software comes from software files come from tilde/kd/usr, which again, I don't recommend that you do. You should have a clean separation. The KD things should always come exclusively from tilde/kd/usr. Let's see that. lsoff, grep kcalc, and then redirect. There's no lsoff in here. Sudo, like this. So there's such a package lsoff. And now we're going to look at the contents of this file. So it's showing that the executable is this one, tilde/kd/usr/bin/kcalc, not a problem. Non-KD software such as libllvm come from /usr, no problem. This is from Mesa. Fonts also from /usr, not a problem. But and the Qt framework also from /usr. But all of the KD software files should come from tilde/kd/usr, which is not the case for libkf6 style, as you can see in here. So this is a KD framework, which should come from tilde/kd/usr/lib, not from /usr/lib. another KDE framework, Kirigami, solid, authentication, bookmarks, service, KIO, etc. So we're going to fix this thing. Make sure that libkf6 completion.so.6.7.0 comes from tilde/kd/usr, not from /usr/lib, by invoking, where are you, this last command line. Okay, next up we're going to build Plasma integration. Make sure that we have libkf6 style, etc. from tilde/kd/usr. Why do we do this? Because we don't know exactly which KDE Git repositories we're going to build. If you're going to build only one KDE Git repository, for instance, I know, kmail or something from the KDE PIM suite, then the instructions that I present here are general instructions for all KDE Git repositories, but from the KDE PIM, which is the PIM suite, the Personal Information Management suite, there are persons in there, maintainers, which might tell you, as a person that just started building KDE software and started programming for KDE PIM suite, that the way kde-builder is used for KDE PIM is a bit different. It might, your maintainers might say, in here we always not run kde-builder frameworks because we want all of the KDE files to come from Arch Linux from /usr. Just the kmail or what KDE Git repository you're building, only that should exist in tilde/kd. And you do that by doing by making sure that you install all of the dependencies of kmail. Probably you also install kmail as a binary package. From Arch Linux. So that would be sudo pacman -s kmail, for instance. I'm not exactly sure if that's the name of the package. This will install kmail and all of its dependencies. But then maybe your purpose is to write to the KDE Git master branch of the kmail Git repository. That's why we're using kde-builder, because by default, kde-builder will use the Git master branch. But all of the other dependencies will come straight from /usr from Arch Linux binary packages. This makes sure that the tilde/kd directory is way reduced in size if you only have one Git repository built in there and installed in there, and is a way of testing that kmail continues to work with older versions of KDE frameworks, because in Arch Linux binary packages, it's a rolling release, but it doesn't ship KDE frameworks version 6 from the KDE Git master branch. Instead, it ships from release branches. From time to time, the KDE community releases software as a software release tarball and as Git tags and Git branches. And Arch Linux takes software not from Git master branch, but from Git release branches or from Git tags or from release source code tarballs. So that means the KDE frameworks version 6 will always be a bit older in /usr than in Git master branch. Okay, so I'm running kde-builder Plasma integration to build all of the theming related to KDE Plasma from the master branch. So icons, sound themes, cursor themes, QML themes, Qt widgets themes, etc., color schemes, and also integrations below the Qt framework, such as the file save as, file open, file print, etc. dialogues. So this is it. This is how you install kde-builder, and in very short, how you start using it. But do make sure that you get familiar with kde-builder by reading its documentation. The documentation is easy to read. Do go through all of the pages in here. The aim here is not to memorize all of the possibilities of kde-builder, but to know that kde-builder can also do that. Can also build just one module, not all of its dependencies. Can also not do Git operations. Can also do a rebuild instead of a build, etc. So you need to know the possibilities that kde-builder has, and you do that by reading the entire manual. Thank you.